because it was a great weekend of baseball. I mean, really well played, very tight, very taut, dramatic, and from the standpoint that it was all three games were in effect up for grabs, and we saw some people really step up big for the Cardinals. I got no problem with, pardon me, winning 2 out of 3. Yeah, it would have been nice to get that win for Wainwright on Saturday night, but just win the series. That's all you can do. And the Cardinals, Jim Hewer, they avoided, as I joked with Will Leach, but it really wasn't a joke. It's actually true. Had the Cardinals lost that game yesterday, as I told Will, I said our podcast would have a much different tone on this Monday morning when we recorded it, because you realize if they had lost, that would have been a 2-4 week after sweeping the Cubs, sweeping the Yankees, a 6-0 homestand, and actually 7 wins in a row, but a 6-0 homestand, followed up by a 2-4 week. That would have been really frustrating, and seriously, I ain't going to lie, I know I'd be doing a lot of hollering today, so that was a huge win for the Cardinals. They could not have squandered their great week by then following it up with a losing record the next week, especially because of their stumble at Coors Field, which frankly still irritates the heck out of me. I'm not over it yet. But at least they took care of business against the Brewers. When you screw up at Coors Field and you lose to that team, well, you can't fix it at the moment. All you can do, you can't go back in time. All you can do is rebound and recover and win the next series. And that's what the Cardinals did, and they lead the Brewers by 1.5 games. We got a long way to go in terms of the standings. Let's hope the media in our town is just, can take a little chill medication or something. Let's stop proclaiming that the race will be over like in 3 days or whatever. The Brewers are a tough-minded team, and they will continue to fight, even if the Cardinals have the advantage in the schedule. What do you think, Jim Hewer?
One, I didn't even think about it in that terms until you pointed it out. And I was like, wow, you're dead on. I would be sitting here. I cannot believe they've just laid an egg here. How do they? But yesterday made all the difference in the world. It was one awesome weekend of baseball. The games were really fun to watch. They were riveting. We got so many things to talk about, but obviously, for obvious reasons, yesterday took the cake. But it's a race, and that's what you want. I said this in the last hour. I revisited some iconic moments that I remember from pennant races in the past. And I think yesterday was hopefully going to turn out, we'll look back as one of those moments. And I listed in 82 when Suter got Mike Schmidt out with a 1-2-3 bases loaded double play in Philadelphia. Cedeno hitting a home run in New York. Pendleton hitting the home run in New York against the Mets in 87. Spezio's triple in the gap in 06. I hope yesterday will kind of be remembered for one of those. You know what? That helped shape things that season. But fun baseball, but my goodness, you kind of scare me when you go, yeah, if they would have lost that, we would have been in a completely different mode. And I would have been right there with you. I agree.
And that game was up for grabs in the 8th inning. I mean, going into the 8th inning. So it's not like, they won it 7-1. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, man, they can't lose this, man. They can't follow up that great week that had everybody going nuts, had the media overreacting, but that's okay too. Can't follow that up by going 1-2 at Coors and then coming home where you've been exceptionally good, and then losing that series 2-1, despite getting 3 outstanding starts during the 3-game series. So, but they took care of business.
Yeah.
But it just shows you how one result, one outcome can sort of color the way you view a team. We'd be howling mad today. And I don't know, man. Yesterday's game was great for a lot of reasons. Albert Pujols was the number one reason. 2 home runs. The first one cut the Brewers' lead at 2-1. The second one finished them off in the 8th. But just the fact that a 42-year-old man hits 2 home runs, the second traveling 443 feet. It was majestic. It was picturesque. The home run tour around the bases was incredible. He could have, He could have walked around the bases, walked on air, I meant to say, walked on air around the bases, and he would have had 44,000 fans floating behind him. Because that was that to me was so far the greatest, the best scene at Busch Stadium this year. Like a moment where, I mean, he connects. It's a perfect swing. The ball travels in a way that just it was so mighty, and the way the ball traveled, it just was, as I mentioned, majestic. And it just sort of, you looked up and it just got out of there so quick, but you're looking at it and you're going like, whoa, my goodness, he just vaporized that pitch. And, you know, he's 42 years old, and I keep coming back to that. I've decided, you know what I've decided to do, Jim?
What's that?
This is meant out of course, an expression that comes from fondness and respect and affection. I've decided now at age 42, I've decided that this is going to be known when it comes to Pujols as the greatest show on earth. I mean, it's unbelievable what this man's doing, the greatest show on earth.
I like it.
He's got his OPS plus up to 125 now on the season. That's the highest it's been in a season for him since 2014, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
That's awesome.
He's got the highest slugging percentage right now and on base percent or OPS. Highest slugging percentage in OPS he's had in a season since 2015. His on base percentage, 325. It's highest it's been in a season for Albert since 2013. I mean, this is ridiculous. And I say that, I'm glad it's ridiculous, but this is absolutely ridiculous. You know, 64 plate appearance since July 10th. The dude is hitting 356. And he's got a 406 on base percentage. And he's slugging 729. And he's got 6 homers and 4 doubles and 12 RBIs. He's up to 10 home runs this season. When he hits a home run in a game, the Cardinals are 7-1. When he drives one in, they're 12-5. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And you know what's cool? I was thinking about this home run, the second one. But I was thinking about all the days and nights that he's delivered such moments as a Cardinal. Some this year, but of course a million of them or so it seemed from 2001 through 2011 before he left and, you know, disappeared into the anonymity of the Los Angeles Angels franchise starting in 2012. But I was curious because I'm like, you know what, this guy hit all these big home runs when he was a young Pujols here at Busch Stadium, even the old Busch Stadium. We're talking 2 different stadiums, but he hit so many big home runs, and he's still doing it after all these years. And I looked it up because I was just really curious, and I smiled, man. I really smiled by this. I said, you know, I'm pretty sure he hit a home run pretty early at home during his rookie season. And in fact, his first home run for the Cardinals at home was his first at bat in the old Busch Stadium. It was in the 2nd inning, and he hit a bomb off Denny Nagel, Rocky starter. It was April 9th, 2001 at the old Busch. The first at bat at home as a Cardinal. He hits a home run, and now 21 years, 4 months, and 5 days later, he's still hitting home runs at Busch Stadium. That's just, and it's a different stadium. No, think about that. That is just remarkable. I know it seems like a small thing, but it's not. The guy in his first at bat, I'm repeating myself, I don't care. I'm jacked up by that. First at bat at home as a Cardinal, gone, home run. And here he is. His age has doubled since then. Now he's 42, twice as old as he was when he hit that one. And he's still making his home ballpark shake, rattle, and roll. Still. 21 years, 4 months, and 5 days later. That to me is, you just, all you can say is incredible. That's all you can say. This is just absolutely incredible what he's been doing. And like we've said over and over again, this isn't a situation where Albert Pujols, as Will Leach and I were talking about, I think most people would have been cool with him, Had he, his numbers been not as good as they are, had he been slightly below average or whatever, there were some jerks that were ready to like put him on waivers or what, back when he was not hitting much. Not as much May, but June. So yeah, some people was like, look, they're going to have to release him. It's as simple as that. And it's like, just ease up, Bubba, because, this guy's got a lot of pride. He's going to figure something out. He's going to do better. But I'd be lying if I said I thought that really since the beginning of July that we would see the kind of performance. It is just an emphatic, bombastic performance. I'd be lying if I said, that's what he's going to do. But this is just a remarkable thing. He's, since July 1st, he's sort of given the Cardinals another big three. I know he doesn't play every day, but when he's in there against left-handers who he just ravages, really, Pujols formed a big three. They were called the MV3, of course, 2004 especially, with Jim Edmonds and Scott Rowland. But if you look at it now, and again, there's a caveat. I'm talking about when he's in the lineup against left-handed pitchers. The Cardinals have another big three because Pujols stands tall right there. His numbers tell us that against lefties when he's in the lineup. He stands very tall, and he stands mightily with Arenado and Goldschmidt. It's like another big three. Not every day, but when he faces left-handers, and he has been hitting a little better against right-handers. So this guy is making history repeat itself many, many times already this year. The team's history and his history, and I think it's pretty extraordinary.
I'd like you run out of ways to describe it. It's incredible, 100%. The second one was unbelievable, but I'm watching the game yesterday, Bertie, and all that's built up and the intensity. After the first home run, watching the game at home, I was like, that is awesome. That is why I wanted Albert Pujols to have one more year so I could see him do that. And that was after the first home run. I was like, what's going on here? Everything that this game means. You got two teams battling for first, and boom, he hits a home run in the second inning. And what led up to that was he gets his standing ovation. He tips his cap to Ashby. Just a little tip like, okay, thank you, we're ready. And then he just greets him with a blast. And you go, even if you're throwing to him, I don't know if you can get mad at the guy. You just go, okay, he's one of the greatest ever. I just gave up a home run to him. Give me the ball. Let's keep playing. There are other guys that would probably go, oh, I got to drill this guy next time he gets up. You don't get that sense.
But hasn't he been tipping caps to pitchers before he digs in the first time in a game?
It's just awesome to see.
What we don't see is like from the pitcher's standpoint, because one time I saw it where you could get like a center field view of it where both are in the shot, where I don't remember who the pitcher was, starting pitcher, but you could see him not take his hat off, but, do the thing where you
give him a nod or something.
You take the brim of your hat and you kind of squeeze or you pinch it.
Yeah.
And it's a gesture of respect. And then I think what we've been seeing is Pujols doing it back in response. So, yeah, I don't know why Ashby would have no reason to be offended because this has become one of the traditions of the season. The opposing pitcher, not all of them, but many of them are doing the tip of the cap gesture to Albert, and he does it back, So, no, that's one of the things that's really cool about this. His opponents get it. It is a competition. They want all. Each side wants to try like hell to beat the other side, but there's a moment you can take to acknowledge. I respect you, for the career you've had, because you never know when the last time is you're going to be pitching against him. So he continues to deliver all these special moments in one form or another. That's one of the cool things about this season I've noticed.
And then the emotion on the second home run from Albert himself shows you how intense he is and how much he's into this. We talk about how he's smiling, he's happy, but he still gets the importance and the intensity of a pennant race. You put all that together, Bernie, and we're just lucky to be able to witness what's going on in front of us. I mean, we could have had a completely different situation here where you could be 10 games out and you go, yeah, we're just playing out the string. Hopefully Albert gets a few more home runs. It's not that. It's just it becomes more storybook as the season goes on, and you've described it so, just all these things. You go, you can't make it up. You couldn't even draw it up if you made up the story yourself. It's pretty awesome.
And I just wonder what he's got left in him. I mean, in terms of can he keep this up? And I can't even say there was a brief downturn once he started really heating up in July, but there was a stretch that he didn't play very much.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, well, yeah, Ali Marmol's actually been pretty smart about the way he uses him, but still you have to wonder, what's in store. Can he possibly keep this up? And he's got 689 home runs now, and he's actually creeping up on Barry Bonds, and that would give everybody, at least around here, probably in a lot of places, great happiness. I meant to say Alex Rodriguez. Pardon me. He's creeping up on Alex Rodriguez on the career list, and that would give a lot of people a lot of pleasure if he could get past A-Rod. It's going to take some work though, but who knows, right?
Yep. The story could continue. Could get. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where the limit is because every time you think you put a limit, okay, that's that you can't get any better. He continues to amaze us here in St. Louis, so it's awesome.
And I would, before we take a break, too, there's so much to talk about, and we're going to revisit even some of the things that we just talked about. But you can't say enough about the starting pitching over the weekend. Those guys were, you're talking about Jordan Montgomery, talking about Wainwright, and talking about, Miles Michaelis. I mean, those three guys, it's hard to really ask them to pitch any better than they did. 23 innings, 3 earned runs. Held the Brewers to a 139 batting average. I mean, and those three guys, we've been talking about how the Cardinals starting pitchers need to strike out more. They need more punch. Those three guys, Montgomery, Wainwright, and Michaelis, they struck out the Brewers at a rate of 27%. Keep in mind, before the series, going into that series, the Cardinals starting pitchers were like 25th in the majors with a strikeout rate of, I think it was like 18.5%. So for them in that series to go from being, just such a pathetically low strikeout rotation, and then they strike the Brewers out 27% of the time in that series. I mean, that's just a great job. So I'm glad the Cardinals offense got going just in time to at least reward those pitchers, all three of them, with a series victory, because they really did a phenomenal job. Montgomery, Wainwright, and Michaelis. So wanted to do a tip of the cap to them as well.
They were outstanding. Montgomery, it was Jim Cott who was on the television side at one point, was in there with Danny McLaughlin, and he goes, I don't know why the Yankees got rid of this guy. And I think the rest of the world is asking that same question right now. How did the Yankees move him, right?
It's crazy. I still don't get it. And that team hadn't been right, and they got some reasons for it. But they're still they're still dragging a bit. I don't even know if they won last night or not, but it doesn't matter. They're still dragging a bit. So I wonder if they'll come to regret that, because is the Yankees rotation going to hold up? Meanwhile, the Cardinals with Quintana and with Montgomery, I mean, they've won all 4 of their starts. And those guys have allowed 3 earned runs, all 3 charged to Quintana. But remember, he pitched one of those games at Coors Field. But those guys, those 2 guys, the 2 newbies, the 2 lefties, 23 innings and 3 earned runs allowed. I believe that's what it is. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.